Hello, in this lesson we are going to look at layering chalk pastels. That's one colour on top of the other. So here's one I've already started. So if you remember, last time around we looked at using graded tones with pencil, and then we did the same thing with chalk pastels, and we did some smudging, didn't we? We went from dark to light, and we even layered a colour there and had a go at copying part of a painting by Georgia O'Keeffe, who we've been looking at. We used a viewfinder as well, but today all you're going to need is your sketching pencil, you're going to need a rubber, and you're going to need some chalk pastels. So these are the sets that we have in our school. Not the best, to be honest, but we'll have to do. They're quite scratchy, but never mind. So if you've only got one between two, it's best if one child has red and orange, and then the other one has yellow and blue. There are other combinations, but this one will work well. That way, nobody's waiting for a particular colour. Okay, and so I don't know if I mentioned, we need a rubber as well. So take a look at that, and take a look at the tools that you've got, and you might want to pause the video and tell each other, how do you think this has been done? What would you do first? Would you do the red first? Would you do the orange first? How did we get the white bits in there? Okay. So, if you've had a chance to chat about it, then obviously the first thing we do is we draw it out, wouldn't we? So when we're sketching, we do, we're not worried about how many lines we do. We sketch nice and lightly, don't we? And we don't press hard. So that's what I did. I've sketched out some petals. I was trying to look closely at this photograph here. I'm not too worried about the colours and getting it exact. I just wanted the shape of the petals. I like the way some petals are hidden behind others. So what we're looking at today is using tone to try and make some petals look like they're hidden, half hidden behind others. So this one, hopefully to you, looks like it's behind these two. These two are coming forward, and this one is in the background. You can do all that with tone. So I drew out some petals here, as you can see, and then drew some petals behind. So let's carry on, and let's see if you were right in your prediction about how it's been done. So how do you do it? You start off with your lightest tone. So if I'm using the orange and red, I just cover the whole thing, whole petal, in that lighter orange tone. You can hear how scratchy it is, can't you? It's a bit scribbly, it's fine. Blow away the chalk dust, and then smudge it with your fingers. Smudging it helps it to cover the area a bit more, cover the petal a bit more easier. Okay, there we go. It's all orange now, and then for the red bit, so then you go straight to your darkest tone. I know it's black here and then turns to red, but we're just going to stick to two colours here. So I'm going to do some lines going from this way all the way, well, in the direction of the tip. I'm not going to go all the way there. I'm only going to do lines probably not even halfway. I'm pressing quite hard. There we go. Blow away the dust, and then I'm going to smudge where the lines stop, and I'm going to smudge it upwards towards the orangey bits like that. Okay, that looks effective already. Okay, I'm not too worried about how similar it is to the photo. There we go. That's not bad. And so now what I do to bring in these whiter, lighter areas, I wonder if you guessed it too, what we do is we just take a bit away, especially on the edges of the leaves, right where they meet darker areas, and it really helps to bring this, keep calling them leaves, but they're petals, aren't they? It helps to bring this petal forward, and it pushes that petal back because this one is in the darker shadow. Okay, I do the same on this side. So I've rubbed out a little bit of the orange just at the sides of each petal. Okay, and then the one behind, I'd do it the same way. Start with your lighter tone. I'm going to cover it in orange. Smudge it. And then get the darker tone, the red, and do the lines again. You won't be able to see all the lines because a lot of these lines that the other petals have got will be hidden behind this petal. But what I am doing now is I'm adding a tiny bit of shadow. I don't know if you can tell on here, but there's a tiny bit of shadow. You can just see it there on this petal, a little bit of shadow that shows you that this petal is in front of that one. And so, way to add shadow, you need a darker tone, and it follows the line of the petal on top, just like that. There we go. I'm going to blow the dust away, and I'm just going to smudge it a little bit. And look at that, already that petal looks like it's on top of this petal, doesn't it? So that's how you would do it. I could keep on going, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to yellow and blue now. And I'm going to do it on the same flower. It doesn't really matter because it's a sketchbook, we're just practicing. So I'm switching to yellow and blue for those children that have the yellow and blue pastels now. So I'm going to cover it. It's the same way, same method. Cover it with the lighter tone first, which is yellow. Cover one petal at a time. Blow away the chalk dust. Smudge with your finger. There we go, it's a lovely yellow that. And then get the dark tone. And again, start from here, and we're doing some lines that go towards the tip, but they don't even go halfway. So stop before halfway. Okay, and then get your finger and smudge, not from the beginning, not from where it's really dark. We're going to smudge from where the blue meets the yellow and make it go further up. Look, that is nice, isn't it? I'm going to make it even darker around here. I'm going to make these lines come up a little bit higher. I want it a little bit darker. Smudge a bit more. There we go. And then the next step is get your rubber again. And just the very edges of your petal. Just rub a little bit away. You can also blend the white area back into the yellow area with your finger, just by smudging a bit. Do a little bit of that and smudge it back in. Okay, so there's one done, and I'm going to do the one behind. Remember what you do first? You start with your lighter tone, which is yellow this time. Just cover it with yellow. Blow away the chalk dust, smudge with your finger, like that. Get your darker tone, blue, and this time I need to follow the edge of the petal to create that little shadow that makes it look like this petal is on top of this petal. There we go. Smudge upwards a little bit. And same for here. Now, I'm finding it difficult now. So, what can I do? I can turn my page. And I'll find it easier. I think quite a bit of the time, we forget to do things like that. Just turn the page and you'll make it easier for yourself. Okay, so I wanted a dark shadow there, didn't I? So I've got that. And I want one here for this petal now. So I've got that too. Let's smudge it upwards, And yeah, this petal looks like it's in front of, it's on top of this one. Okay, so last one then. Cover with your lighter tone, blow away the dust, smudge, smudge, smudge. Get your dark tone. Start doing lines going towards the tip, but not all the way to the top. There we go. Get your finger. Smudge. Smudging is one of the best things you can do with pastels. It really is. Who doesn't like to smudge a pastel? Right. And then the edge of that leaf. I keep calling it a leaf. It's a petal. And then the edge of this petal. Yeah, and there you go. So you noticed I haven't done the middle yet. That would be up to you. You could do that your own way. But again, I try and use a graded tone where maybe it's lighter in the middle and darker at the edges, but make it more interesting. I haven't done the other petals either, but because this is a sketchbook, it's just practice. But you might choose to do some more petals. Now, before we go, here's how not to do it. Here's how I often see it being done. So there's a petal there, and you get you've been told that you've been asked to do it with a lighter tone, and what some children do is they absolutely hammer it and just really press as hard as they can. Now I have to admit it, that is quite a beautiful yellow, but then what they do is they go really hard then with the blue. And then they leave it like that. They don't even smudge it. Smudge it upwards. And then sometimes people just smudge everywhere, so there's no yellow left. We don't want that either, do we? But look at the difference. If you press really hard, although the colour is still quite vibrant, you don't, it's not as vibrant, in my opinion, as the colour here, because here you still see some of the white paper coming through it, and that helps to make the colours nice and bold and bright and vibrant. Okay, so if you keep pressing, and keep pressing, it ends up being too dark and too dull. So what we're saying is, this way, good, that way, not so good. Okay, so have fun with it. I've done it with a class of Year 4 children just today, and lots of them became very creative and very inventive, and they changed colour combinations all over their flower. So you could experiment with different colour combinations. I wouldn't go for anything too dull like black or brown. I wouldn't even bother with white. What I would do to get the white bits is rub it away. If you rub it away, you get a better white than you would by using a white chalk pastel. Okay, that's it. Looking forward to seeing what you can do.